The following readings are from the Bible and the Bhagavad Gita. Each week we read from both scriptures as prescribed by Yogananda Ji and by his guru Sri Yukteswar Ji, who was guided by Babaji to compare the two scriptures to show the same underlying truths between them. This week's reading is entitled, Does God Hide the Truth? Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it in your deathless self within. The following commentary is based on the teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda. In last week's reading, we saw that the great masters themselves counsel discretion in the dissemination of truth. The counter-argument is sometimes made, but the Lord doesn't hide. He reveals his beauty in the sunsets, his tender sympathy in the rain, his wrath in the thunder, his restless energy in the brooks, his power in the sunlight. There are exoteric truths, and there are also esoteric truths. There is that which is revealed impersonally and left up to us to interpret, such as the thunder and our perception of it as divine wrath, the rain and our perception of it as God's sympathy. But behind even God's most open expressions, there lies, said Jesus in the Bible. You hear the sound of it, but you do not know where it comes from or where it is going. So is everyone who is born of the Spirit. And Sri Krishna says in the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, by me, the whole vast universe of things is spread abroad. By me, the unmanifest. In me are all existences contained, not I in them. God's hidden reality cannot be understood by the reasoning faculty. India's Shankya philosophy states frankly, Ishwar Ashiddha, God is not provable. A willingness to seek the underlying reality behind appearances is essential for those who would know God. Thus, through Holy Scripture, God has spoken to mankind. Oh, oh, oh.
So I wanted to read a little bit of something from Master that's related to that. But first I'll read from Whispers from Eternity. Do you want to show them the book? This is a beautiful book to help us get in touch with the feeling of God behind things, just as the reading was saying. So thanks. I highly recommend that be one of your books that you just keep at home and open it up randomly and find out what your guidance is for the day. It's just a valuable and incomprehensible thing that's there. It's just so beautiful. So this one is called, I will broadcast my voice with the chorus of thy songs. With the soft finger touches of my soul intuition, I tuned the radio of my inner perception. At first, I caught only the sounds of nearby experience. Then came a symphony of inner harmony, followed by sweet strains from my heart's orchestra of finer feelings. And then came the swelling chorus of my age-long cravings for thee. All these I caught on the radio of my soul as I kept tuning my perception, waiting to catch the whispers of thy voice, O guardian angel of all souls. With infinite patience, I went on tuning my radio. At last, when I was almost prepared to give up further trying, the song burst upon my heart. Oh, let my broadcast through my every word, now the chorus of thy songs. So such a beautiful poem by Master. You know, when we go through good times, We often feel as though life is just in a great flow, and we have a connection to the divine that feels effortless, and we're getting guidance, and we just feel like life is clicking and going so well. And that's what we call practicing when it's easy. And so then the other things happen when the karma happens, when the discomfort happens, when the fear happens. And one nice way to look at it is a bad time is sandwiched between two good times. And it's better to think of it that way rather than a good time is sandwiched between two bad times. Think of it instead, when we're in the bad time, okay, there's going to be another good time. That can give a little bit of hope when we're going through the bad time. But what's very uncomfortable is when you're going through the bad time and you suddenly feel like your connection to the divine is really far away now. Like the fear holds on to you in a way where you focus on what you think is making you feel the fear. You feel that fear. Why does it feel so far away from the divine? It doesn't feel fair. But even the best of people have bad karma. And we watched Swamiji was a Jivan Mukta, and that means we got to see how Jivan Mukta deals with karma coming at him. And we saw that he had already developed by his way of being and karma and what he had done in previous lives, that he had 100% become reliant on the divine. 100%. And what that can look like for us is when something happens that brings so much fear that separates us from happy feelings, from feeling connected, from feeling like we're okay, then what we have to do is, rather than look out and say, you that thing that happened, stop it now. I don't want to feel this way. Instead, we have to just address the fear. Whatever that is, the fear or the anger, whatever that is making us feel so separate. And all we have to do, which can seem really hard when we're going through a difficult time, is meditate. Meditate and pray, but meditate. Do your Hang Sa, do your Kriya until the feeling diminishes. You have to just get the feeling to diminish. It's these waves of emotion, these waves of personal emotion that happen that prevent us from tuning into the feeling of intuition that makes us feel connected to Master and to solutions and to feeling good about things again. And so meditate, meditate, meditate until a little drop of light enters your consciousness. And when you feel that drop of light, then you meditate more until it expands. All it takes is being open for 1 millisecond to hear God's voice, to suddenly bring the light in. And when we can get out of that fear, the anger, anxiety, depression, whatever it is that's making us feel so separate, when we can get out of that with just a flash of light, with just a flash of intuition that comes to us, or a flash of Master's voice that comes to us, suddenly that thing that was so fearful is no longer large anymore. Suddenly it's about, how can I solve this situation? How can I deal with this? And, sometimes it's just a mood. You know, sometimes we're just overcome with a mood and we feel completely separate and we don't know what that is. And Master and Swamiji would say that a mood that overcomes us can just be a karmic thing or a habit that we've developed in lifetimes where moods just come. I know a few people who, you know, you have to be really careful around them because you don't know what mood they're going to be in. They might just, and out of helplessness, they can't help it. They're just suddenly dark. And, you know, you have to kind of stay away from them while they're in that dark mood. It happens. And, you know, actually, you can be around their dark mood and suddenly feel like something's wrong with you. And so that's kind of the curse of becoming sensitive and more intuitive. It's because you suddenly feel other people's moods. And then suddenly you think their darkness is your own darkness, and their darkness can make you feel separate because you are believing their reality. You are believing that the reality of fear, whatever it is, and it's even worse when it comes from someone else and you don't know it because you just blame yourself. A normal person blames themselves. A person who's a little strange blames everyone else. But most people are a bit neurotic and they blame themselves. It's better to be that way because the solution is within ourselves. We can blame ourselves to a point because in a way it is true. We were so sensitive, we picked up on that person and we didn't identify it. Because all you have to do is notice how you're feeling in the moment, feeling great. You walk into a room, there's the dark cloud. Now you feel bad. What happened? Nothing. Nothing happened at all, except you walked into the room. And so we have to identify that. This is why just being in touch with the divine helps us be in touch with how am I feeling now? I am feeling connected. How am I feeling now? I am feeling connected. How am I feeling now? I'm no longer connected. You know, oh my God, it must be me. You know, I must have done something wrong. I caused that person to do that. How can I fix it? How can I change myself to like make them finally like me? You know, I mean, there's just so much neurosis that we go through that's very difficult. But if we can identify, now I'm feeling strangely. Sometimes the delusion of feeling strangely is so strong, you don't even know you've been influenced. And that can be being influenced by the whole world going through a dark time, not just one other person. And then suddenly we think something's wrong. Something's terribly wrong. We have done something that is unforgivable. We have become someone who is just a bad person, and the whole reality comes over us in that way. But those are clues. It's really great when we can identify that's a clue. We need to get to know ourselves better when we are in a happy mood. When we're in a happy mood, that is who we really are. We're carefree, we're loving, we're open-hearted. We care about other people. We want them to be happy. All sorts of positive things. This is who we are. We're not someone who is making mistakes all the time and being a bad person. We have to have trust that we are okay. And so if we don't feel okay, something happened that we have to correct because we should be feeling okay. And so the more we get to know ourselves internally, the more we can identify when something has shifted for the worse. I wanted to read a little quote from Master. I love this quote. Open thy lips of silence and whisper constant guiding thoughts to my soul. May all demonic, noisy thoughts take flight in order that silent, strong whispers of guidance may be audible to my forgetful soul. Forgetful is perfect Because as soon as we are taken over by the delusion that says, I'm not okay, suddenly we believe it and we have forgotten that we are okay. And it happens just in a flash where suddenly everything's wrong and not okay. You know, we're like little babies. Think about babies in the crib. They're like, fine, goo goo gaga, goo goo. And then suddenly, wah! And you know, who knows what happened? But suddenly it's cry time. That's how we are in adult form. You know, we're having our, something's not right. You know, we have to find a way back to things are right. And that is just sit and meditate, not because you have to, not because you should, but because it really is the answer to getting rid of that feeling, getting rid of that fear. Just, it may only take 5 minutes. It may take 2 hours, however long it takes. Give it the time it needs to really work on you, really work. Inside, there's that little motor for master working until we finally go, okay, there's that one thought. And then suddenly the light can just rush in and wipe away all of those feelings. It's a miracle. That is called doing things when it's hard. Practicing when it's hard. It takes effort like that. Otherwise, what do? We sit around, we turn on YouTube, we try and find a happy video. You know, will that make me happy? Will that maybe there's a movie that makes me feel better. Oh, I always like this movie. You know, whatever it can take, something outward. And maybe something is happy. And finally, you know, you watch what You've Got Mail or something, and suddenly just the happiness of the movie makes you go, life could be okay. It is okay, you know, but not until we just go inside and really just say, I've got to shift this energy, and I have to shift my dependence onto Master 100%. I have to do it. That's the only key to happiness. Otherwise, it's someone else. Someone else did something to me. And maybe they did do something. And you have to fight. But that's because you meditated, you felt that discomfort, you felt that lack of connection. You meditated out of desperation, and then you got the guidance on how to fight. You know, but you got the guidance internally that said you must fight, not externally, which is the first reaction. I will fight. Not that one. The one that says you must stand up for yourself. You must say this, you must say that. Stay calm. Don't get angry. You know, here's how you're going to say it. You get all those little details of guidance. They're all right there inside of you, how to do it. And Master will whisper those things if you want to hear. And so I wanted to read also the end of the reading that we just had. The one sentence at the end of the reading: a willingness to seek the underlying reality behind appearances is essential for those who would know God. So that willingness. And yes, we go through times of depression, but sometimes we have to kick ourselves and say, just sit and do it. You know, you can take a bath afterwards. Nothing's wrong with Vaishya type rewards. Like, okay, you're willing to meditate? I will give you a croissant afterwards. I will give you an extra large, one of those huge dosas that is 2 feet long with whatever your favorite chutney is. And so you will get whatever you want after this. It's bribing yourself. I will bribe myself. I deserve a reward. I will take that reward. But first, before I take my reward, I will do a little tapasya, which in actuality is bliss. But because of delusion, we can't see that. We can only see that life is terrible. So, as things get more and more difficult in the world, who knows? Although, let's hope Chennai doesn't have to deal with it, but who knows? And as things get difficult, other people get affected, all that kind of stuff. I wanted to reread what we read during purification ceremony, which is very short and sweet, from Swamiji. He wrote a book called Living Wisely, Living Well. We should have that also in the boutique, although it was kind of out of print before. Might be, we do have some. This book is another one. You just open it and you go, wow. Although there's a date. We don't have it. Oh, we don't have to. That's okay. Don't worry about it. If you want it, it's in there. It's a yellow book with a daisy on it. But so here it is. Never reduce people mentally to stereotypes. Everyone is in his own way unique. To typecast a person is to impose limitations on him that may paralyze his progress. So isn't that interesting? That is Swamiji saying, basically, don't listen when other people think you're a terrible person. Don't listen to them. Some people just want to destroy us. I hate to say it, but some people, that's their goal. They don't like that you are full of light. They don't like that you're happy. What was the quote you said? Yeah, the world envies, say it again. Say it loudly.
The world envies nothing so much as a happy heart.
Have you seen that? People who are just irritated for no reason, who are prejudiced for no reason. Those people you cannot fix. You don't have to kick them back. They are who they are. They're going to be who they are. We can't change them. But what we can do is, if you're sensitive, you will feel the limitation they're putting on you. You'll feel that. And you might start feeling a little paralyzed by it. It's very uncomfortable feeling. But that's, again, you meditate until you get rid of that feeling that is so limiting. And because you start believing, yeah, maybe I am so limited. Maybe I am just that person's problem. If I would just, I could just go away. I could just shrink. And can I just exist? Is it okay if I exist in your presence at all? You just start feeling like you have to disappear because that person doesn't like you so much. So again, we meditate and we hear, no, it's okay to be a strong person, man or woman. It's okay to be who you are. It's okay to exist. That person, unfortunately, is going to just be who they are. You may feel it every time they enter the room or every time they think about you. You may feel it, but you can just meditate and get that feeling out of your aura. Meditation strengthens the aura. It strengthens the boundaries around us. It also makes us more sensitive. So on the other hand, we might feel things more. But Swamiji, Master, they talk about when you are in a radiating mode, like I am awake and ready and I am radiating life, then it's a lot harder for someone else's negativity to get in your aura. When we are receptive, like when we're eating, or even if we shake someone's hand and touch someone, or we are kind of we have a superior and we're the inferior or something like that. We somehow go into receptive mode. And as soon as we're in that, we can soak in anything coming at us. So when something is coming at us and we hear that, get into your radiating mode as well. You know, in level 2, we have that whole chapter on magnetism and all the little tools, Om Tat Sat and Om, all these different tools that are taught by Master and Swamiji on how to strengthen the aura. So we have to do our part in that too. This is all practicing when it's difficult. Remember? So we have the bad time sandwiched by 2 good times. So the bad time is practicing when it's difficult. The good time is practicing when it's easy. And nothing's wrong with trying to develop the muscle of intuition. That's the thing that we are developing. I wanted to read a little quote from Master. I just love this reminder. If I can find it. Sit quietly after meditation, feeling a calm peace. That the feeling that makes you enjoy peace immediately after or during deep meditation is called intuition. If you keep exercising this power daily, it will develop itself and be ready for your service every day. And so I remember being surprised the first time I heard, you know, the part where you're sitting in silence is the part where you're developing your intuition more. The intuition is throughout the whole thing, but especially during that time of silence after you've done the technique, that meditation time is building your intuition. And so if you just do your techniques and get up, you're just not doing things. Master says, every time you meditate, sit calmly a long time afterwards. You don't cook your food and then run away. You eat it. After meditation, you must sit quietly. That is when enjoyment comes after practicing the technique. That is where intuition is developed. If you can hold on to the calm after, if you can hold on to the calm after effects of meditation all the time, then you can become intuitive. So the whole thing of when I'm saying meditate until the feeling goes away and a spark of light comes in, it's intuition that perceives the spark of light that comes in and finally does something. So we are practicing our intuition muscle when it's difficult. Hopefully the intuition muscle is just working when times are easy, but it's only when times are hard that we're forced to do it. And we do get stronger. We get stronger the more difficult times we go through, the more karma we work through. You would think that a great soul like Swamiji would just, his job would be just to radiate to everyone and encourage them on the path, which is exactly what he did. Meanwhile, he encountered all sorts of battles while he did it. And to someone who didn't know him, they would never even know what he was going through. But all of the Ananda community did. And he just was such a valiant warrior and cared so much. He was always on our side, no matter whether it was 2 opposing sides, you could always feel he was on your side. That's what our job is with everybody who is our guru by, is to be on their side. And that's how you develop a spiritual community, when the barriers are dropped in terms of prejudice and expecting people to be a certain way and trying to act a certain way, and instead just learn to be ourselves calmly in our center and being able to just express the love of God no matter where we are. So thank you everyone for coming today. God bless you.